Welcome to A Drink of Wisdom with Nathan Drinkard. I'm Jay Wise. Thanks for spending some of your time with us. As a reminder to all our faithful listeners, we're on Anchor, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, and if you're looking for us in the video format, you can find us on the A Drink of Wisdom YouTube channel. Lots of stuff to get into. Drink, what's going on, brother?
Hey man, same old, same old. What's going on with you?
Not much. Ready to do it as usual.
Hey man, we up here on Saturday to give the streets what they need, and y'all know what it is. We see what they don't, we say what they want, and last but not least, let's talk some sports, baby. Let's roll, Jay.
All right, episode 68, we reveal our top 10 college football coaches. We recap the NBA draft and we react to a busy baseball trading deadline. But we start in college football. We're done with the whole SEC, Texas, Oklahoma thing, but we got to thinking in our previous episode, what if the SEC just continues on and just builds out a 32 team mega empire super conference league? What exactly would that look like? Well, we got out the pen and paper and jotted down our 32 teams that we would, if we wanted to make the best super conference league in college football. So now we have an idea of what it looks like. Drink, over to you first. What do you have?
All right, so just a quick synopsis, so we don't put people to sleep. Like Jay just said, 32 teams were broken down. For me, by conference, I broke it down: six by the SEC, seven from the Big Ten, four from the ACC, five from the Big 12, four from the Pac-12, five group of five teams, and Notre Dame. With that said, I didn't. You want me to run through all 32?
Yeah, sure.
All right then. Well, with that said, I'm gonna try to get through this as fast as I can. So I broke it down 16 to 16 since we kind of going off what the NFL got, NFC, AFC, kind of something like that. So I went with Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Florida, Texas A&M. Clearly, I went with the SEC first. Don't shoot me. I'm not saying like Alabama will be the number one team in the league, which that is a possibility.
Yes, you are.
So, but but I did not rank these teams as I was going. I kind of
Right.
just went off how I felt and how I would think it would go. So please bear with me here. So yes, the first five teams are SEC teams. Then at number six, I got um, Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, USC, Texas, Oklahoma State, Oregon. Cincinnati was my first group of five team at 14. Miami, North Carolina, Florida State, Memphis, Iowa State, Michigan, Penn State, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Boise State, Stanford, Auburn. I missed Auburn at the beginning of the list. Please. Appalachian State. Yeah, I know people. Appalachian State. Listen, this team that made a lot of noise with knocking off Power Five teams. So take that as you will. UCF. I meant to say Iowa, Northwestern, TCU, and then I had a hard time picking between UCLA and Washington. As I sit right now, I think I am going to give Washington that edge as my 32nd team. So, like I said, yep, that was all 32 of my teams. Like I said, I broke it down by conference. Yes, I do have the Big Ten getting one more team in than the SEC because I do think the Big Ten conference from top to bottom is more. They're deeper. They're a little more. Their middle of the pack is a little more competitive than the SEC. Only because the SEC, honestly, it's the SEC West, not necessarily the East. When you're talking about the middle of the pack or the bottom teams that could be competitors, most of the SEC West is top heavy. So I just think Big Ten a little more, when you talking about parity. And then, like I said, 4 out of the ACC, 5 out of the Big 12. I know that's a little surprising, being that we talking about getting rid of the whole conference as a whole, but I think they do have 5 teams that can get it done, and then 4 from the Pac-12, and then I know, and I think this was just a miscommunication on our part. I got group of 5 teams. You don't have group of 5 teams.
Yeah.
However, I do think group of 5 teams should be in the field because I think you're gonna have teams like Jacksonville. You're gonna have teams like the Jets. You're gonna have teams that just live at the bottom per se. And there might be these group of five teams or it might not. Listen, I think Cincinnati is a hell of a group of five team. I think they would deserve to be in this mix. I think they got a good coach. They got a good foundation. They got a lot of good things going on. I mean, hell, Memphis, for example. We talk about Memphis more than we talk about Miami right now. Hell, we talk about Memphis more than we talk about what was the other team I seen in front of them? Damn near USC right now. So, I think some of these Group of Five teams had a little claim to fame here. So that's why I made sure I threw them on. But with that said, man, this will be my 32 team league. So it's a lot to comb through, but yeah, that's what I came up with. What say you, Jay?
So I'm just because I was trying to go through and check mine off to see where we matched at. You had Cincy, Boise State, Memphis, Central Florida. And you had one more. You had one more Group of Five, right?
Yes. Yeah. Appalachian State.
App State, okay. And for the Big 12, you had Oklahoma State, Texas, Iowa State, and you had one more, right?
Yeah. So Big 12, I had 5. Yeah. So I got Oklahoma, Texas, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, and TCU.
TCU, okay. I had TCU as well. Okay. I think for the most part, and like I said, we have a little bit, we probably align a little bit more if I put in some Group of Five teams as well, but I kept it strictly Power Five, wound up with 8 SEC schools, 10 Big 10 schools, 4 from the Big 12, ACC got 5, Pac-12 got 5. And I think I went through each Power 5 conference, combed through, kind of the no-brainers, ended up with 22 of them. I was like, okay, we got 22 that's solid in the field. Then I had to comb back through to get the other 10. So the SEC, I think we agree on the 6 no-brainers from the SEC: Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, LSU, and Texas A&M. Then you head over to the Pac-12. They get 3 no-brainers from me: Oregon, Southern Cal, and Utah. And going over to the Big 12, the Big 12 gets 3 no-brainers from me: Oklahoma State, and Texas. The Big 10 gets 5: Iowa, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Wisconsin. And the ACC gets, to me, it was pretty easy to go through the ACC. I gave the ACC 5, and it was 5 up front, and I didn't give anything to them after the fact. They got Clemson, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina, and Notre Dame. So after that, you had to comb back through, see what else. The Pac-12 gets 1 more. They get Washington. The Big 10 ended up getting 4 more. They got Indiana, Minnesota, Northwestern, Nebraska, and it was 5 more. Nebraska and Michigan State. And actually, I said that wrong. The Pac-12 had 2 more. I gave them Washington, and I put in Arizona State. The SEC, I left in Kentucky and Tennessee. And the Big 12, their 1 extra school was TCU. So that's the 32. There's a lot of fringe teams that, you look at some of those 10 teams at the bottom. So definitely some Group of 5 teams you could slide in there. Like, for example, Cincinnati, Nebraska, you might have to get on out of here. But there's a lot of Nebraska and Tennessee. They get on simply like on history, and historical, prestige and all that. Indiana and Minnesota have been kind of up-and-comers recently. Minnesota they were kind of in the playoff conversation a couple of years ago with P.J. Fleck. Indiana was excellent last year. Northwestern with Pat Fitzgerald, he's done a tremendous job. Michigan State, they've been up and down, but Mark D'Antonio had a lot of success with them. And then I like what Herm Edwards is doing with Arizona State right now. So I think they get in there. And just say something positive about Kentucky. Kentucky competes in the SEC, with under Mark Stoops. So, and then of course TCU with Gary Patterson. This guy's done a tremendous job with that program. So that's the 32. I think we both got solid leagues. I think some of them would definitely struggle, but you gotta look, if you're gonna make a 32 team league, A 24 team league might look a little bit better, but I had 22 that was just easy, just getting them in there. Filling it out though was a little tough, but that's the 32 from each side, and we'll see at the SEC how much more work they do. Got 16 right now.